It's time once again for another episode of the Buckhead Business Show. Being brought to you by the Buckhead Business Association. Broadcasting live from the Pro Business Channel studios in Atlanta. And now, here's your host for today's episode.
All right, Rich Casanova here in the house. I don't know if they still say that or not, but we're here in the studio. We're not broadcasting from my house, whatever, yeah. I may have some leftovers from the holiday, but meanwhile, back at the studio, we're in the Pro Business Channel studios here in Atlanta. And if you're familiar with Atlanta, Buckhead, we have our $1 billion Buckhead view. I actually have a neighbor joining us in the studio that we'll be chatting with in just a moment. Kind of runs all things. If you ever heard of the brand Microsoft, yes or yes. So Janae Wilburn is in the studio. We have a couple other gentlemen actually joining us in the studio as well. So I want to introduce and give a little teaser what you all might be chatting about. So Neil, welcome to the Pro Business Channel studios and to the Buckhead Business Show. What are you going to be chatting about this morning?
Thank you, Rich. I'm glad to be here. I'm going to be talking about digital marketing, which is what we do.
So we're not doing so much the Yellow Page print marketing anymore these days, right?
Not too much of that. It's going the way of Kodak.
Right, exactly. Yeah. All right, and we'll be having a conversation with you in just a moment. But how would people find you online? Do you have a www one of those?
Absolutely. I have a www.prativaconsulting.com. That's my URL. I have a very active LinkedIn page as well.
Yeah, I see that in Facebook and Twitter.
And Twitter and Facebook as well.
Cool. All right, Neil, well, welcome to the show and to the studio. We'll have that conversation in just a moment. Also sitting to my right, as if for those watching on Periscope or Facebook Live and all that good stuff, is Marcus Robinson. You're the VP of Sales for Harken Health.
Good morning.
So, yeah, actually, good morning. So you and I had the shortest commute. We're kind of rubbing it in this morning, yeah.
I don't want to make people feel too bad. Dunway's not too far.
Yeah. It's almost as close to Sandy Springs, cool. Buckhead. And so we all survived our first bit of rain in almost 100 days, like significant rain, about 41 days of drought, which is unusual for this parts of the country. But so you'll be chatting about healthcare and so forth. So give us a little teaser about that.
Absolutely. So talking about healthcare delivery in America. Okay. The state of health insurance options for small businesses, and really primary care as well, and how that's evolving.
Yeah. It's there's always, you got to work with somebody that's stays on top of those trends, right?
Absolutely.
Because they're constantly changing. And so I like that you're going to be talking about business health for our business listeners and so forth. Okay, cool. So, and how would folks find you online?
HarkenHealth.com, www. We are also an independently owned affiliate of United Healthcare.
Okay.
So you can go to United Healthcare or HarkenHealth.com to find us.
So we all get one of those cool jackets there? I just noticed the logo on there. It's pretty nifty.
Yeah, we got some cool merch for sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. So stay tuned for a conversation with Marcus and Neil in just a moment. But we want to welcome, actually kind of back to the studio. You sat in as an observer a couple weeks ago, and we've been at your store. We were talking about Microsoft right out our window, our $1 billion view at Lennox. So Janae Wilburn, welcome back to the studio, but first time on air.
Yes, thank you, Rich. Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm really, really excited to be here. We consider you a honorary member of the A team at Microsoft Atlantic, so thank you for having me.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, we didn't expect that announcement or whatever, so we're pretty excited about that. We felt that, but now it's official, whatever. Yeah, so we're the A team at Microsoft. Dang. All right, we just got to upgrade. Nice. All right, so. So, Janae, you're the community development, and you have a team of folks over there at Microsoft. So talk to us about your program in terms of community outreach and business partnership. And I'll speak on a personal testimony level in just a minute, but what keeps you busy over there?
Well, Microsoft is the company to work for. I'm very excited to be a part of such a great team, and a great team being the great team that we have at Lennox Square. We dub ourselves the A team.
I love that.
we dub ourselves the A team. So I'm really excited to be a part of such a wonderful team that's truly committed to community outreach. Rich, we and I have had this conversation many times. Atlanta is a place that I was born, raised, and educated, so I have a true affinity for making sure that my city has all it needs to continue to thrive to the international city that it is, and Microsoft has really helped me to do that.
I think we've all visited some electronics stores and so forth, but I don't know if I've come across because we met some of your team members at some networking events out and about around the city. And I don't think you typically see that from some of the other folks.
No. I think that we're one of a kind.
Yeah.
I really truly empowered the team to get out. We just did a great event with K Camp, who is an artist here in Atlanta. We just did his Camp Giving. I believe that's what it's dubbed as, Camp Giving. It was truly an amazing experience. You'll find us at events from there to Atlanta Dream, to our partnership with Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, The Zone. A big shout out to Katie at The Zone. We volunteer there every fourth Monday.
Oh, wow.
So you'll always see us out and about, and I really have truly empowered the team to get out and make a difference in their community.
And so how long have you been at Microsoft with Microsoft?
It was 2 years in October.
Oh, okay.
2 wonderful years in October.
Well, happy anniversary on that, yeah.
Thank you.
So before we kind of dive back into Microsoft and day-to-day operations there, tell me a little bit about your background prior to Microsoft.
Well, I worked 15 years in local and state government. I started at 19 years old.
Right.
I've worked for 2 former mayors,
All
a district attorney, a former governor.
Wow.
And I just really thought the Microsoft was my next step. And so I was very excited to come and work for such a wonderful company and a wonderful team that really, truly empowers people to make the best of life.
Right.
And I have worked, like I said, with an amazing team, corporate and retail. So I'm really, truly blessed.
Yeah. And so besides, now talk to us about the kind of the retail operation, what makes you kind of unique or different over there. Folks are probably, if they're in Atlanta, they're familiar with Lenox Square.
Yes.
One of the largest in the market here.
It is.
And how long has the store been there at Lenox?
The store's been there almost 6 years.
Okay.
Almost 6 years. And Lenox is one of the top retail stores in the Southeast.
Right.
And it was one of the top retail stores in the Southeast. And we have many products and services that speak to the small business owner, also speaks to the individual, the college student. We empower college students to come and be a part of our team. And that's what keeps us, the millennials.
Right, yeah.
I'm not a millennial anymore, but...
Well, when I tell people when I grow up, I want to be a millennial. Yeah, I don't know if it works that way or not.
They are always showing me the latest and the greatest ways to use technology to make your life a lot easier. And I'm a work in progress, but they've done a really good job in keeping us all abreast of what's going on.
It is a great spirit and vibe. We have a number of interns working here with us at the Pro Business Channel, and I think it's great because you feed off their energy, more often than not, I think they learn from us as well, right?
They do.
The non-millennials, whatever category we're in.
They do.
Right? Like that business sense or acumen or some of the soft skills, whatever, that you need to kind of navigate through the waters of business, right?
Definitely. As a former business owner myself, entrepreneur, I have been able to have those conversations with our younger team members, and they're like, "Wow, we didn't know that could happen," and I didn't know that you could do this and you can do that. And so I think it's a really good partnership, and we've been able to find that happy medium where I am a good resource to them, and they keep me on my toes.
Right, yeah.
They were like, "Janae, why are you doing this way? You don't have to do that anymore," because I'm used to cutting and pasting. And, they were like, "Use your cloud, use your 365." I was like, "Okay, well, that will make my life a lot easier."
Right, yeah.
So it's a good thing.
Speaking of cut and pasting, I remember I camped out in college at Kinko's and literally with scissors and what was the sticky
tape.
Yeah.
The sticky
But
glue.
it's a flashback. But yeah, it is that we're in a unique environment that I think you and I share working in our business ventures, but also with millennials, is that mentorship and millennialship.
And they're
I just made up a
open.
new word.
Millennialship.
Right? Yeah, because they're teaching us stuff.
Hashtag that.
Hashtag, yeah.
Hashtag it.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to get it in Google. We're going to take a quick commercial break while I buy that on Google, yeah.
Yeah. It's an amazing adventure. And if you continue to make yourself open to grow,
right, yeah.
The sky's the limit.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah, speaking of open and kind of, I heard somebody say never use the word old school in business, because as soon as you do that, it sets a tone for your clients and your colleagues and so forth. It's like they're not ready to pivot and adopt new things. But at the same time, you can't just jump on every bandwagon that comes down the pike, right?
No, you can't. You have to learn to decipher those things that you feel that would be beneficial to you, your company, and your family.
Yeah.
I always look at things as my glass half full instead of half empty.
Right.
And it's all about the changing of a mindset. Absolutely. And I'm one of those people, my friends laugh at me, I had to switch. One day it'll be one way, and I said, you know what, I'm changing my mind today, and I'll flip the switch, and it's just all about progression, and you have to continue to move forward.
Yeah.
And the young people at our store are very good at helping you make sure that you continue to move forward.
Right, yeah.
So you have to come by and visit us some more, Rich. Really.
Oh, yeah. Well, I want to speak about that just a second. That segues right into our business partnership and how you not only work in the community in terms of nonprofits you mentioned and community outreaches, but business partnerships. And I'll kind of just tee it up that after we connected with you all, just networking events, heard about the opportunities there at the store, we jumped right on it. We were able to kind of make that decision to make that it was kind of a no-brainer, if you would, is that you have a venue there. I'm going to have you talk about it just in a second. But we, in partnership, if you will, kind of hosted our we call our B for B instead of B2B,
yes.
Breakfast for Business. So we had a great event there. It was all over social media, and we look forward to having more of those in the upcoming weeks and months ahead. But talk to us about that unique play in your store.
Well, we have a space. It's called our theater. It's open and free to small businesses.
Say that one more time. What was the cost again?
Free. Free. Free.
Right, yeah.
I know that's a word that people usually don't hear every so much now, but it is free.
Yeah.
No strings attached.
Right.
Come in, have your events there. We have a 103 screen, which I know the guys love. It's an Xbox. It's a TV. It's a presentation screen. It's everything that you could ever want, all in one. And you can have your presentations there. You can meet with your clients. It's just an all-around good space. And once again, Rich, is what?
FREE.
It's free. So
no dollar signs
no
or
dollar
decimal
signs,
points or anything. Yeah.
No dollar signs. And what a good way to, have our brand as your backdrop.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's what I was telling people when we were promoting it online, and free parking
yes.
at Lennox Square. And then you're there at the mall, which is a really cool environment. It's very different to like the bar atmosphere or whatever, right? And then plus the high tech if you're in business. And then you talked about that screen. We felt like we were on the big Jumbotron, right, in the store, because our website, our logo was, and you couldn't miss it when we walked in. So
No.
It was phenomenal. So how would folks find out about you, and then at the store and reach out to you? Or,
we're at Lennox.
Okay.
We are off the luxury wing next to Mont Blanc and David Yerman. Mm-hmm. We're right there in that corner on the bottom level. You can reach us via website at www.microsoftstore.com/Atlanta. We are the premier Atlanta store. I'm very biased. Also, our phone number is 404-942-6170.
Nice. All right, Janae, so thanks again for being here in the studio and on the show. And hang tight. We're going to have a couple more conversations, maybe circle back around.
Sounds good.
Absolutely. So now let's turn our attention to Marcus Robinson. So we were just chatting a little bit earlier, Vice President of Sales for Harkin Health. And just remind our listeners, you're listening to the Pro Business channels in our studios here in Buckhead, our $1 billion view on the Buckhead Business Show, and being brought to you in part by the Buckhead Business Association. You can check them out at buckheadbusiness.org. All right, so Marcus, so you lead all the commercial sales effort for Harkin Health.
I do.
And tell us how that came about.
Oh, it's a fascinating story, actually. So I typically like to start this conversation with a question. If I were to ask you, what's wrong with the healthcare delivery system? We'd probably all be able to say something, right?
Right.
We'd have a personal example. And it really started, call it 2 years ago, with a couple of people who were just unsatisfied with the status quo of healthcare delivery. My personal example is I go to a doctor's office. I spend 45 minutes in the waiting room.
Right.
I get called back to an exam room, and I spend another 7 to 10 minutes waiting to get another 5 minutes with my physician.
Wow. Yeah.
I mean, that's the typical
right.
experience in healthcare delivery. So there were a couple of people who were unsatisfied with healthcare delivery, the rising costs, the declining outcomes, and they said, let's start over. Let's take out a blank piece of paper and reimagine it from the beginning. And that's really where it began. And what was created out of that is what we believe could be revolutionary.
And who are these two people you're speaking of?
Yeah, it's some of our founders that had careers within United Healthcare. Tom Vanderheiden, Krista Nelson, Ryan Armbruster were kind of our three co-founders.
Right. But now Hank Harkin. Where's Hank Harkin in there? Yeah.
Harkin, the name Harkin is actually very interesting. It means to listen. or also to
okay.
call attention to. And so we really like that double meaning.
Yeah.
Because in our health centers, which I'll get a chance to talk about, we have 6 of them here in Atlanta. In our health centers, our care teams listen to our patients. If you walk into a center, you're going to see our care providers listening to our patients. So we love the double meaning. Also, harkens back to a time of healthcare delivery where it's about a relationship.
Where the doctor would show up at your door, I guess, whatever. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, the doctors did house calls. Back. We can't say old school, right? So
right, yeah, that's true.
Just
Exactly.
rewind
back
the clock.
in the day.
Back in the day. But it's a time where it was about a relationship in healthcare delivery. So we want to harken back to that time.
So you touched on the current health insurance landscape. So y'all are a disruptor, right, to that model, obviously, right? So talk to us about the small business and options for employees and so forth.
Yeah, so I think small businesses or businesses in general are faced with the rising cost of health insurance. I mean, we all know the percentage of, healthcare spend as GDP, and as the cost of delivering healthcare increases, so does the cost to offer insurance. With the current ACA law, we know that small businesses are not required under 50 to offer health insurance. So around only 52% of them do, according to the NFIB. You juxtapose that to people really value insurance coverage. Around 40% of people, according to Glassdoor, would rather have their employer put in or maintain an insurance offering than to get a pay raise. Right. Wow. So it's this really interesting, dichotomy of rising cost. Employers are struggling to afford it and pay for it, and then you have employees that really desire it. So we want to fill that gap with our offering.
Well, probably that employee mindset is just that kind of blanket, that comfort, that just like, maybe I'm having challenges elsewhere, but that's covered.
Yeah,
right?
It's that, and I'll even go a step further. No one in this room gets excited about insurance, and I'm an insurance sales guy.
I think of one guy that does. Yeah,
well, to some degree, but
Janae's shaking her head or whatever. Yeah, woo!
Let's put it this way: over the Thanksgiving holiday, I didn't spend much time talking about insurance with my friends and family. But what insurance is, it's a conduit to care. People really care about good health care. That's what they care about. Yeah. And that's what we focus on at Harkin, is providing that relationship, really personalized healthcare experience at our care centers.
And I think when people probably experience something like that out of the box and different, it awakens their their mindset, right?
It does.
So talk to us about the current healthcare in Atlanta. And you mentioned your locations and how they kind of fit in the mix here.
Yeah, sure. So if you look at just the state of health of the state of Georgia and even Atlanta, we lag many other states and cities, metropolitan cities in the U.S. with our outcomes. You can blame that on a lot of different things, which I won't go into.
The weather,
right now. The weather, right? Some of it's really good cooking, right? We've got some great restaurants.
Oh, I know,
Some great cultural food as well. But that gets back to behavior is a really big determinant of health outcome. And how do you change behavior? You create a relationship with people. You care for them, you step in, and you show them how to take that next step forward, which, again, our care teams do. So to our centers, we've got 6 centers here in the metro Atlanta area, greater metro Atlanta area. Brookhaven, right? Austell. We've got one in Roswell, Decatur, Duluth. Did I mention 5 or is that 6?
I think I was counting.
They're on
7. I counted 7. Yeah.
Well, we're looking at a couple more as
really?
well. Yeah, we plan on
come on over to Buckhead or Dunwoody or Sandy Springs.
Yeah. You know what? There's a beautiful State Farm building going up in Dunwoody that I think has some space at the bottom of it. But yeah, we're looking at probably adding 2 additional. But in the centers, what we offer: primary care, unlimited, free. So freeze the word.
What?
We call it included. So you buy the insurance offering and the unlimited primary care. It's all you can drink. So you can have as much primary care in our centers as you want, and it's also 24/7. Dang. So it's just a relationship with your care team. You can email your doctor.
I wasn't excited about insurance until I started hearing you talking about this.
Well, again, it's the care
aspect. It's the care.
It's the care. It's not the insurance. Right, the insurance is just the financial piece.
Right, yeah. And so what's next? for y'all?
Oh, man. Okay. So we truly believe this focus on primary care can change the healthcare delivery landscape. So our launch markets are Atlanta and Chicago. We've been in both cities since this past January.
Okay.
Again, we want to expand deeper in both markets. And then we want to move to other markets as well and really focus that attention back on excellent primary care.
Speaking of excellent, I think maybe you agree with me. There's a little bit of a shift in, it's one of those stats that we're the lowest in, like you said, cities and states around the country as far as, but I think the Beltline, Cycle Atlanta, the millennials, but just the tech, mindset. But I've been riding my bike a whole lot more lately than I have in the past, and I think it's these cities now that live, work, play are getting people more engaged,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah, it's tremendous. And just a little bit on our care teams in the center, we have a role within our care teams called a health coach.
Okay.
And that health coach really curates personal plans for our members of what they can do to improve their health. So they will get to know our members, the health coaches will. Every single member at Harkin Health has a health coach assigned to them. And if you live on the Beltline, they will put together a walking plan for you. If you like to bike, they will put together a biking plan for you. And again, all that's included at no additional cost. It's embedded in the care team.
This is very different.
It's really cool.
Right?
It's really cool. So if you think about just traditional insurance, if you ask what do you get in return, it's financial peace of mind and access to care. We focus on the care. The insurance is just additive to it. So it's the care experience is unbelievable. Yoga, acupuncture, all included in our health centers.
I'm all in. Dang. We need to put one here in the building or whatever, right?
We'd love to sign you guys up.
Yeah, but it's a different. And I was going to mention that statistic again. You said 52% are not enrolled in a program.
Yes.
But is that the 50 employees and under?
Yes. So
overall?
you're looking specifically, if you look at larger
They're
employers.
not required in Georgia unless you have over 50 employees.
Correct. Yeah. So if you have 50 or under employees by law, you're not required to pay for health insurance and offer to your employees. And subsequently, only 52% of employers in that size range
category.
do. Yeah.
Wow.
When you get over 50, it's in the 80s or closer to 87%. So it's more prevalent.
Yeah.
But it's a huge factor to retention of employees. If you look at productivity, if you look at absenteeism, having a health insurance, but really access to great primary care.
So
really
it's more than I'm going to try to create a little phrase here for you. It's more than an insurance policy, right? Because that's what we think of insurance, just that policy that comes once a month. It's the primary care.
It is. It's the primary care. And if you go to harkinhealth.com, there's virtual walkthroughs. We would welcome anybody that's close to one of the centers just to stop in and just to take a look around. It doesn't look anything like a doctor's office. Wow. There's no registers because, again, everything's included. You never have to pay a copay. You just, once you're a member.
Everybody's signing up right now.
I'm going there.
Yeah.
Dang, dude.
Well, there's also an emergence of direct primary care or ideal medical practices. Maybe concierge medicine is another term that you're familiar with.
I think we need to do a whole show on this, whatever,
I'd love to come back where people pay an additional cost to have this unlimited, barrierless access to primary care, but they'll pay that, $1,000, $1,500 on top of their insurance plan. We're taking that concept and embedding it in our traditional insurance offering.
It's interesting because I didn't anticipate this connection, but when we were talking to Janae earlier about kind of having that forward mindset and thinking from innovative outside the box, this is exactly what Harkin is doing. And you just gave out your domain name, so we're good on that.
Yep.
And I see you're all over social media under the same, and we'll have your LinkedIn profile here as well. So, Marcus, thanks for being on the show.
Rich, I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Hang tight here. We're going to bring in our third guest and have a conversation with Neil right now. So, Neil, talk to us about your consulting business. You help both large and medium-sized businesses increase their revenue. Got to love that, right? Yeah. And you also have experience with Fortune 500 firms. Talk to us about a little bit of your background.
Yeah. So that's exactly right, Rich. I mean, last 9 years I was working for companies such as in the management consulting business, really, working in digital strategy, working for companies like PricewaterhouseCoopers Consulting. Then I was with IBM Strategy and Transformation Consulting Practice, and then lastly with Accenture's Management Consulting Practice. So I was consulting for companies like PepsiCo, American Express, Sony, and so on, and there are a bunch of others. The Brazilian Stock Exchange, for example, Bovespa. I spent 3 months in São Paulo.
Dang.
I was in the global practice, so with IBM. So that meant really being wherever you may be based, but really traveling to wherever the clients are. Yeah. So
dropping some names there. Yeah. Look out! Look out for you. Yeah. So now, how long have you been as the founder principal now in your consulting firm?
Yeah, this is a firm that I started earlier this year, really.
So you're one of those startup kids.
I am one of the startup kids. In fact, I am one of the mentee firms for Thai Atlanta. I was selected as one of the mentee firms for Thai Atlanta.
Nice.
So, so that's excited to be here. So what I hope to do is really bring my large company experience, bring the best practices, really serve the small and medium businesses world where they could use the help.
I was just had this idea the other day. I don't know where it came from. This idea of what do you think about this, folks? The baby boomer startups, right?
That's exactly right.
Because it's that second chapter or third chapter in your life, right? I mean, you come from a political background, and I know you have some entrepreneurial experience as well. I'm looking at Janae but I'm talking to Neil here. Yeah, sorry, Neil. But so now let's dive into day-to-day looks like for you in terms of consulting and how you help people.
Sure. So what we do is really help small and medium businesses with their marketing needs. And more. So if we are a full service, we call ourselves a full service marketing firm. So that includes all of the traditional marketing as well as digital marketing. That's our focus. So that's where the marketing is going more and more of, right? So what digital marketing means is anything that has to do with marketing initiatives, footprint, acquisition of customers in the online space.
And video marketing is
absolutely
and content.
Video marketing, content marketing, search engine optimization, search engine marketing, social media management, as well as website, and mobile application design and development. We do it all.
That's a lot. That's a full day.
Yeah, that's absolutely a full day.
And so give me an example, kind of, I think we get the gist of what you do, but give us like an example of a client or somebody you may work with or an industry and some challenges and how you navigate those waters.
Absolutely. So, for example, we're working with a physician client, who is trying to really generate leads. So we are working with her on a couple of different things, such as, getting her brand awareness higher on the social media sites. She had been with an agency. That agency had not given her a single report in 1 year until she asked for it. And what we have been giving her is weekly status reports. Right, that's a change. We had weekly calls getting into the campaign, so that the whole concept of the project management itself is something that a lot of digital agencies do not really employ and use. And that's something that's kind of ingrained in us who come from that background. Is like no matter if it's a campaign or whatever it is, you still got to give metrics. Right. You still have to and get the client updated on metrics. Right. What is working, what is not working. So in in less than 4 weeks, we were able to get more engagement for her on the social media than she had for an entire year.
Wow. That's great. In just the first month.
Yeah.
So what's like the biggest challenge that businesses typically have and in their business, in their digital marketing?
Yeah, one of the biggest challenges that small businesses at least actually have is that they are really and their understanding, one of the I see small and medium businesses really falling into one of two categories. Okay. One is the folks that think that they're on Facebook, they're on Instagram, they're on Pinterest, they're on Google Plus, and that means that they have a coherent, holistic, digital marketing strategy that's working out for them, right?
And I guess the answer is wrong.
The answer is, it could be done better. You need to have a coherent strategy where one is reinforcing the other. And in many cases, what we see is what is being driven. they might be focusing on one market niche in one channel, and they're not focusing on another market niche in the other channel. And when you go to their landing page on the website, which is the hub really,
Right.
and there's no reinforcing message that whereby a traffic, a visitor would really convert to a lead and register themselves. That's when someone really registered themselves a lead, that's when you can really start pursuing them and following up and giving them a very value-added material so that they would become a customer.
So, Neil, what makes you unique, I guess, in this space?
There are a couple of things. One is definitely because of our background. Again, digital marketing agencies come in typically one of two flavors. Either you have people who are coming from a straight advertising background, agency background, or they're coming from a straight technology background. Since our group comes from a business consulting background, we bring that business consulting flavor. That is the glue. So everything we do is tied to business metrics. So there is an end-to-end traceability between the most strategic business goals to the marketing goals to the most granular tactic that we employ in our campaigns. So that's one difference. The other difference I would say is that because of our background, we not only can help small and medium businesses in how they do it, which is the campaign side of it, but also in the what. Like if you are a new business, what are the product portfolios that you should really focus on? What are the target market segments that make sense for you with those product portfolios? If you're an existing business, we can then refine your product portfolio. We can refine your go-to-market strategy. We can we can refine your product bundling strategy. So we can also help with that part. Now, that part is part of our strategic business consulting services, which may have a little bit of a higher ticket price, but it's comforting for clients a lot of the times to know that it's all under one shop.
We'll also have kind of an expert evaluate from an outsider's perspective and a field of expertise as well. Yeah. That a lot of times, I think we've all experienced this, is that you're moving a lot, shuffling a lot of stuff, right? Online, on social media, whatever, right? Yeah. And in retrospect, to look back, we didn't really engage on Facebook because we felt like that was more the personal social community. Yeah. But in retrospect, if we were to do things over, we put most of our eggs in the basket on Twitter, which has been huge. But we need more of a presence on LinkedIn, but even specifically Facebook, because we're B2B. So we thought that's not necessarily our audience. But once we started engaging there, I was surprised how many people started just bubbling up and conversations starting to take place. And I mean, you can't deny the audience there, but at the same time, you have to kind of pick and choose.
Absolutely.
Be very strategic, like you've talked about, because people say, "Are you on Snapchat?" Well, no.
That's a great point you bring up, Rich, because that's exactly one. If you go to my LinkedIn or my website, that's exactly the topic of a blog that I wrote that just got reviewed and accepted by Digital Donut for publication.
Wow.
Finding the right channel, the first step in your digital journey. So my point there was exactly that. In fact, one of the clients came to me and gave us like a checklist. Can you do this? We are getting this proposal from your competitors. And I said, yeah, we could do it all, but why?
Right, exactly right. Yeah, it's asking the why question. A lot of times people don't do that, right? They just kind of jump in. They see that shiny object, whatever, and we're all in. Yeah,
that's exactly right. Yeah.
So how would folks find you online?
Again, I'm on my website www.prativaconsulting.com. I am on Facebook. Prativa Consulting, very active Facebook page. I'm on Twitter, Prativa_info, and then I'm also on LinkedIn, /company/Prativa Consulting.
And we'll have all those on the show notes as well. Yeah. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we're almost out of time here, but we're going to do a quick roundtable question here in reverse order. We'll ask each guest, if you would, what's a good day look like for you? So Neil, we'll start with you and kind of go in reverse order. So in business or in life, what's a good day look like for you?
A good day for me would be where I was able to solve a client problem, and it starts in the morning. Right. And so that's how I started the day. And then it continued with maybe getting some proposals written, some content written, like blogs and things like that, and then meeting up with some prospective clients. That would be a pretty interesting day for me.
Sounds good to me. I'd like to follow you around one day. Yeah. All right, Marcus.
Yeah, from a business standpoint, impacting people's lives. Some of the stories that we get from our care teams in our centers of how we've impacted people's journey to health is incredible, and that's really inspiring to me. And a good day on a personal level is just time spent with my family, which becomes more and more challenging. A 2-year-old and a 3-month-old.
Oh,
so,
man. Wow.
Yeah, on the road a lot. So if I can get some time with them, it's
The 2-year-old's on the road a lot?
well, he's on the move for sure, not on the road. But yeah, me being on the road can be tough.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, congrats. Yeah, that definitely would keep you busy, whatever. Yeah.
Sure.
All right, Janae?
A typical day for me is he said before, it's just making a difference. Like I said, I have a true passion for my city. As a woman, we have many hats that we wear, and doing some great things with Microsoft. Also, I continue to keep my business open. I continue to make strides with that, and just love life. I'm going to start traveling more.
Nice.
Just it's time. Things as you have to get to a certain age, you just kind of say, you know what. It's time. So, yeah, but I really thank you for having me on. I really appreciate your partnership and friendship, Rich.
Yeah,
really
same
do.
here.
Thank
Absolutely.
you.
Our pleasure. And, I'm glad you traveled across the street from this
I
store.
did.
Yeah.
You got to come over and have lunch with me.
We'll join you over there. All right, that's an open invite. Everybody listening, come on over, yeah. So thanks again. We'll see you next time on another episode of the Buckhead Business Show. Rich Casanova here on behalf of the Buckhead Business Association. You can check them out just at buckheadbusiness.org.
Thank you for joining us and our guests on the Pro Business Channel. Use the social media links here to share today's